In 2010, Paul Menard, who by this point was only 3 years into his full-time NASCAR Cup career, was attempting to do what many other drivers had done in the previous decade: run both full-time Cup and then Nationwide Series, 71 races total in just one season. But this time, Paul was doing a little bit differently compared to other drivers. Paul would be running the 98 in both series, yes, with both Menard's sponsorship as well, but this time for two different teams. In Cup, Menard would be running for Richard Petty Motorsports, and in the Nationwide Series would be driving for Roush Fenway Racing. However, going into Daytona, while the 98 Cup car was safely in the race, the 98 Nationwide car was not, needing to qualify inside the top 30 to be locked into the field. However, Mother Nature had other plans. For the 56 cars entered for a field of 43 spots, 13 cars were going home. However, nobody would get a chance to really even see what they got, as qualifying was washed out. 30 cars got in from 2009 owner point standings, 3 cars got in on provisionals 31st through 33rd, and 10 cars would get in through a random draw for positions 34th through 43rd. Menard had to luck his way into drawing a position high enough to make the field, and well, the team did not. As you can see in the pick, the number 98 team picked 48th position, meaning they were part of the 13 cars going home. However, with Paul needing to run this race since he's running full-time for the championship, Menards broke out the checkbook and Roush promising support, and I use that word in quotation marks, support, to any of the 14 cars ahead of them to withdraw their spot and allow the number 98 to race. They only needed 5 cars to take the bullet to make it. Sure enough, after enough support and persuasion of money, the 5 cars ahead of the 98 withdrew, and the Menard was able to secure the 43rd and final position for the race. The 5 cars that withdrew were the number 97 of Jeff Fuller, the Start and Park Nemco Motorsports entry, the 52 of Donnie Neuenberger, the Jimmy Means Racing entry, which actually was going to be full race with sponsorship from IHOP, the number 96 of Dennis Setzer, the Start and Park Brian Keselowski K Automotive entry, the number 49 of Mark Green, 50-50 on whether it would go the full race. You never really knew with the Jay Robinson cars in that time. And the number 42 of Parker Kligerman, the Team 42 Racing entry, which is arguably the most shocking of all of them, as it was a Penske affiliate team, and Parker himself being a Penske developmental driver. While the official numbers for what each car was paid to withdraw were never made public, a front stretch article stated that $225,000 was around the total paid out, which would be equal to $45,000 to each car, and pretty much what last place purse in the race itself paid anyway. In another front stretch article regarding the Menard buyout situation, some of the owners in the garage who were asked to withdraw cared to comment about the situation. Team owner Brian Keselowski of the 96 stated, "Money talks. It's not easy for the poor to turn away free handouts. What they're willing to offer, I need as much help as I can get to be competitive. Be it money, engineering, support, whatever. They come around and offer it to the right people, and that's their right. I needed some money. With the 10% pay cuts coming into the 2010 season, it's looking pretty bleak to try to survive." Keselowski realized that he was among 4 owners stuck between a rock and a hard place. Had he refused that offer from Roush, Menard's path to the race would have been blocked, as the number 97 Fuller entry was the highest in the qualifying order. They needed that car to withdraw most of all, so if the 96 tried to play games, they still wouldn't be ahead either one of them. So Keselowski took the only route available to him, try to get support from one of the most powerful people and powerful sponsors. Keselowski said regarding the potential of not doing the deal, "I could have been a real prick about it, but that's not going to benefit me in either way. I wasn't about to make a dime, so why would I do that? In the future, if people don't like you now, it's not a good thing. You need all the help you can get, and you don't want to rub anyway the wrong way if you don't have to." A frustrated Keselowski talked about the qualifying rules and the random draw, and he said, "I really cannot believe that they look at you in the eyes and tell you that this is the reason you're not in the race. After you spent every single dime you possibly could is because somebody drew a number. It completely eliminates the legitimacy of what we're even doing. I just can't believe we don't even get a chance. Everyone should have an equal shot to make the race." A crewman from the Jimmy Means Racing 52 team was also frustrated in saying, "This whole ordeal just screwed us up," which is understandable as the team had full race sponsorship, which the team struggled with getting in the previous year. Jay Robinson's team, Nemco, and Team 42 chose not to comment about the bribe deal. However, Parker Kligerman, the driver of the number 42, did chime in on the situation a couple days later in an article posted to Sporting News saying, Paul Menard really needed to be in the race, recognizing that Menard is competing for the series championship. We were in front of them in the qualifying draw, but we had helped them make a deal with someone they needed to make a deal with. As a favor, they said, we'll help you try to get in the race. We'll give you something to withdraw, or we'll help you get in the race. Kligerman also said that the team has questionably priced itself out of the market. We worked till the 11th hour to make it all happen, and when we realized the guy we were trying to deal with was not too smart, we decided it wasn't worth it. In one final statement, Parker Kligerman said, I think you might see a different provisional in the rulebook come Daytona next year. And he wasn't wrong about that. Now, despite this being a huge deal playing out in the garage and in the media world, this whole ordeal is largely forgotten by race fans as a whole, as this was also the debut of NASCAR's newest driver, Danica Patrick, from the IndyCar circuit, completely taking over media for the entire weekend in the Nationwide Series garage, leaving this whole ordeal out in the dust. But in hindsight, it was probably for the best, as NASCAR likely did not want this story getting any more public attention than it already had. Thankfully, to this day, something like this hasn't happened again, but it goes to show you how far just some teams will go and sponsors try to get their car in the race to go out there and race for a championship. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.